Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. I thought I would not totally recreate one of my old makeup looks, but kind of almost like combine two of them together. I do want to do a whole thing of recreating some of my older ones that I did before on my Instagram. But yeah, so this one on my Instagram I had done one before that was like the zipper face. It was a nice like galaxy dark sky on there and everything. So I figured this time I would do more of like a sunset one, but instead of doing like the zipper, do kind of like my skin was peeling. We like special effects, we like a little gore over here, so why not? But yeah, so that's what we're gonna do today, and I'm gonna go a little bit closer so we can see. All right, so let's kind of draw so I know a little bit of like where I kind of want the cutout sort of to be. So I want to kind of enclose this eye. That way I just kind of know a little bit of like where I don't need to do my foundation. Do a little bit of primer. So just like a quick little pore filler, just a little bit. With my foundation, I'm going to kind of mix the two. So we have the NYX Professional, bear with me, it's a Tinted Skin Veil, and then Smashbox Studio Skin in shade 1.15. So fair light. Then, so I like to do just a bit of concealer. A little bit of translucent powder. We have the Anastasia. And with a little bit of bronzer and that kind of stuff. So today I have the Nomad. This is the Kiss of Sun palette. The Sydney Bathers. The Bondi Beach color one right down here. We're figuring out this YouTube thing. Making videos. Can't wait to edit this and wonder what kind of silliness I'm actually doing. Alright, so put back on my glasses so I could see this a little bit better. So then, putting on a little bit of blush. So using the Realher, the Ultimate Glow Getter Cheek Trio. This is the kind of the main one that I use out of it because it just gives a little bit of like peachy glow and stuff. Okay, so I kind of got most of that base going on. Okay, so for the eyebrows, we're going to go in with the Anastasia. This is the Caramel Brow Powder Duo. Yeah, you are super awkward. Like the first few times of doing this, holy crap. You see kind of why people do their brows off camera, because it's boring as shit. Just a little bit there. It's like pathetic little brow, much nicer brow. Taking my favorite primer. This is the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. My Juvia's palette, the Julus. I use this wonderful yellow. This orange color here. And then, taking another brush, that's where we're going to get into the red. Using the Juvia's palette. We're just going to buff the outside of it, so. What do we think? After I've got a little bit of the red on the under eye, I'm going to take with a smudging brush some of the orange into here. And then continuing on, how the color is up above, just dragging that, a little bit of the yellow, that inner corner there, into there. The real thing that you're probably out here for. So now is for like the shape of over here. We'll take some liquid latex. You can either use your fingers, which is great, or you can use like brushes or sponges and stuff. So I just usually get some like cheap craft brushes that from like the dollar store. So dip my little brush ends into it. I'm going to trace along kind of like where I see my little line. Just kind of doing a little bit of like a light layer. As it's like drying and stuff like that, then I can kind of pull it back a little bit. So it's like drying and stuff. That's when it starts getting like tacky. And as you can see, as you touch it with like things, it's going to like lift off. And you can do this with either your finger. Probably I shouldn't do it with a brush because latex is the sticking to the latex. You know, smart thing here. So I'm just gonna kind of pull it. So I did grab do have some scissors here just to like help with. Yeah, so if you find like a corner and you just kind of like, I mean, you're pulling it up like you're pulling up your skin. It's what we're doing. So it looks like, so you kind of get like that little bit of like a flap. And I mean, you can go big, so like more latex, more kind of layers to do that. Obviously, more of like a flap. Wait for it to completely dry, and then we're going to powder it. Okay, so now that it's dry, I've put a little bit of translucent powder. I've just kind of like tapped it all around there. So that's just gonna make it so when I touch it, it's not sticky, so it's not gonna like get stuck to my hands while I'm like working around it. Now for our, what do we say? Is it gonna be a sunset? It would be a sunrise. Still using the Juvia's, the Zulu palette. So mainly using those 3 colors again. I think I'm gonna start the darkest to lightest here. So starting with that red shade again, and just sort of like building it up onto, kind of map out how I want. So maybe like the red to there, orange there, yellow in here. Sit here and think to yourself, what am I doing with my life? Oh well. Our base on, I'm going to take the Morphe Pride Palette, and then I'm going to use sort of like the yellows and orange, and I'm going to use that to kind of like build a little bit more color, a little bit more dimension. Kind of has that more of like gradient look to it. It's something that just kind of playing with like different colors. Kind of like in the orange, and then just sort of blending the 2 back and forth. As you go down, go between the colors that you have there to make work on that kind of like gradient look. There we go. So that's kind of the eyeshadow part of it. So then what I want to do to like add a little bit more like dimension, I'm going to take one of my cream makeup, they called is a bruise one, do the red, and I'm going to take just a tiny little stipple brush, and then I'm going to go just kind of like over the perimeter, and it's just like light stippling. So I am going a little bit onto like the inside, so like go down a little bit. Like how would you think of like how bodies bruise and stuff like that. Taking a little bit of one of the purples, and then just going to just add a little bit more color. Because you know, when you bruise, you get a little bit of, there's purples and stuff, there's yellows, like it's a whole array. Like it's amazing kind of like the colors that come in to like bruising and stuff like that. Bit of like the red that was in there. Very lightly, it's like light and shadow kind of in there. Going a little bit inside of that. How's that look? Add some stars, so because it's more of like sunset and everything, they're going to be little black ones. Yeah, just so it adds a little bit of something to it. Let's do the eyebrow on here. So I'm going to make this one a lot, still within the brown, but just a lot darker. So I'm going to use the brown that's in the Juvia's one here. Now, before I add anything more to there, I'm going to do my liner, my eyes off camera. Yeah, we'll be back. Okay, so we have liner, we've got lashes on. So for do lips, I'm going to do 2 little colors. This is more of like it's a Makeup Forever color pencil. I think it's probably actually like a eyeliner, but I sometimes use those for lips. Eek. And then we have a Fenty one. This one's called Shoddy. So this one's a little bit more of like a brown kind of one. Always my favorite part. It's one that I feel like every time it just kind of like completes a look, and that is the scab blood. Is it a weird thing that I'm just like, is it time for the scab blood now? It is. It is time. So again, using one of my little craft brushes, and then just get some blood, because you know it's a fresh wound, so just get a little bit of blood. So this one is it's a Ben, is it? Yeah, it's a Ben Nye fresh scab blood. I don't know what it is about it. It's just kind of like, it's like on looks where you just add that little bit of glitter, that little bit of like last little like pizzazz, and then it just makes it truly. Because then it was, before it's like, oh, it's all pretty and stuff. I mean, before I put probably like the bruising and everything onto it, but it just adds that little extra to it. A little bit of like the stipple. And there we go. There's the final one. Yes, I am wearing a shirt. So there is the final look. What do we think of it all? If you want to let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this makeup look? And yeah, it'd be awesome if you would subscribe, like, follow me on my other social medias. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this video. If you'd like to see more kind of fun little looks like this. Thanks everyone for watching. See y'all later. Bye. Anyone else just kind of feel like, let's go to the grocery store now.